In today's video, I'm going to be discussing why Fortnite Arena mode was amazing and why it should possibly return to Fortnite. So personally, I think Fortnite Ranked has a lot of issues with it currently, and it's also too easy for being a competitive mode. And this reminded me of Fortnite Arena mode and made me realize Arena was actually pretty good. And personally, I think it's better than Ranked. So for those of you that don't know what Fortnite Arena mode is, it is pretty much the first Fortnite competitive mode ever released into the game. It was released in 2019 but was later removed in 2023 and replaced with Fortnite Ranked, which is the current competitive Fortnite mode. So today I'll be discussing why Fortnite Arena mode was actually pretty good, and I'll also be comparing it to the current Ranked mode and explaining why I think Arena is better. If you guys happen to enjoy this video, make sure to drop a like on the video and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And without further ado, let's get right into this. Also, one thing I'd like to clarify really quickly is I don't think it's a perfect mode, and it definitely has its fair share of issues, which I'll discuss later in this video. So the first thing I'll go over is the ranks and the point system with Arena. So the ranks were actually known as divisions in Arena mode, and there was a total of 10 divisions you could get, and it was divisions 1 through 10. And in these divisions, there was also 3 different leagues. The first 4 divisions being in the Open League, the next 3 being in Contender League, and the final 3 being in Champion League. The Open League was pretty much the same skill level of normal Fortnite matches. It was not really competitive at all. It was pretty easy to get through, but Contender League is really when the rounds got super competitive, and it was more difficult getting through Contender League, and it also offered some rewards. And finally, Champion League was the most difficult league, has the most competitive and the best players, and it also allowed you to participate in the cash cups. So personally, I think the division systems in Arena was decent. I think Ranked mode now has a much better ranking system, because I remember back in the day ranking up from like Division 1 to Division 2, it was just not quite as satisfying as it was going from like Gold 3 to Platinum 1. I think the ranks now are much better than before, but I do like how there's 3 different leagues that you can get into with Open League, Contender League, and Champion League. I actually do like that aspect of it. It really shows you what type of players you're going to be going up against and tournaments you can be gaining access to when being in these leagues. So in terms of the leagues, I think that was pretty cool, but just having like Division 1, Division 2, Division 3, I don't really like that aspect of Arena. But getting into the point system, I actually really enjoy the point system for Arena. So looking at the Division 1 point system, it shows a victory royale will give you 50 hype points, and hype was pretty much the points back in the day for Arena, but top 2 will give you 25, top 3 will give you 10 hype, and you can pretty much get a bunch of hype points from placing well, and each elimination for Open League was 20 points. There's also a bus fare, which for the Open League it was 0. However, for later divisions it would be way more points you'd be losing for playing a match. So in Contender League, Division 5 you'd be losing 30 points, Division 6 you'd be losing 40, Division 7 50, Division 8 60, and Divisions 9 and 10 you'd be losing 70 points. Now I actually really like how it tells you how much hype you're going to lose, because in the current ranked Fortnite you really don't know how many points or percentage points you can lose in your rank, where here you know you're gonna lose this amount of points from playing a match, so you know how good you need to be doing in order to at least keep the points you lost or gain more points to rank up in the divisions. And another thing with the hype points is that it actually tells you in the game how many points you're gaining. So it'll have your hype point score, and it'll tell you like if you get an elimination it will add on to your points, or if you reach like top 50 or top 40 it'll tell you the amount of points you're gaining. And I really like how it lets you know how you're doing in the round, where with ranked it's just completely random how many points you're either gonna lose or gain. I think the point system for Arena was just so much better. And one thing I actually forgot to mention for the elimination points is that in Contender the amount of points you gain per elimination actually does go down. So for Contender League it goes down to 10, and in Champion League it goes down to 5. Now even though the amount of points you're gaining per elimination is going down, it's something players were actually trying to get so they could gain more points and rank up in the divisions, which I actually respect a lot more than now, because I feel like most players you don't even have to be good at fighting or anything like that anymore. You can just camp the entire round and gain more points versus than getting eliminations. So eliminations were definitely more rewarding back then, and overall I just like the point system much more than I do now with the current ranked mode. But another aspect I really liked about arena mode was Siphon, because Siphon was actually in arena mode back in the day. So if you don't remember what Siphon was, it pretty much gave you back like 50 health or 50 shield depending on what you needed, and after every elimination you'd get back that 50 health points or shield points. And I think Siphon was just so good in a competitive setting because it allows players to be more aggressive and actually go for kills. In ranked mode, if you take a certain amount of damage, you can actually lose percentage, but if Siphon was in current ranked, I feel like it would allow players to be more aggressive and actually be willing to take damage if they could gain some health back after fights. I also think Siphon decreased third parties a lot, because once you eliminate someone and a third party comes in, you'll be rewarded with 50 extra health or shield, and this gives you enough to keep going and defend yourself against the third party. I also think Siphon was extremely balanced because it was giving you enough health to defend yourself against third parties, but it wasn't giving you enough to the point where you could substitute getting kills from Siphon over carrying heals. And it still required you to be strategic with your combat and your loadout. And Siphon might be my favorite aspect of Arena and why I liked it so much. It just made it so much better in my opinion. But moving on to kind of the combat, which I was saying before, players were much more aggressive in arena mode. Now in some ways it kind of made rounds seem more like normal matches because some players were super aggressive when fighting, but overall I feel like it still just added more to the competitive setting when players were actually trying to fight versus just camping the entire time. I also do remember when Arena first came out, the games did have larger end games with more players in them. In some ways I do like that because it really makes it a realistic competitive match, similar to like cash cups in tournaments. However, later on players did become more aggressive, especially towards the end of arena mode, right before it was removed. I think there was starting to become a lot of W keyers playing the game, but I think in general Fortnite just needs to find some sort of balance so players aren't camping the entire time, but they're also treating it like a normal competitive match. Overall, I think I just enjoyed the combat more in arena back in the day versus now. But moving on to the difficulty of ranking up, like I said at the start of the video, I feel like it's super easy to rank up and get to Unreal now in the current ranked mode, and I feel like it was a little more difficult back in arena to get to like Champion League in the higher divisions like Division 9 and 10. I don't know if I was just worse back in the day or not, but I just feel like it was much more difficult to get into Champion League than it is to get to like Unreal or something like that. But in conclusion, while there is a lot of elements from arena mode that I really like, I don't think it's perfect. It also makes me realize that arena mode was kind of a building block for the current ranked mode we have now. However, I think arena has a lot of good features in it, and I almost think they could combine arena and ranked mode and make the perfect competitive mode in Fortnite. But if I'm truly comparing both ranked and arena mode and deciding which one I think is the better mode, personally I'm taking arena. It's overall just a mode I really appreciate, especially since it's gone now. But anyways guys, that is gonna do it for this video, so thank you all so much for watching. If you disagree with anything in this video, that's alright. Just let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. But if you guys happen to enjoy this video, make sure to drop a like on the video and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Later.